All right, so for my topic today, I'm going to talk about famous people. Who are they? What do they want from us? And why? I'm going to start out with a small story about a time I met a famous type person, and then I'm going to branch off into a discussion about why we think meeting famous people is interesting or novel in any way, and also a fun hypothetical. So that is where this is going to be going. So when I was in Budapest on a Euro trip with my sister after she graduated high school, we were going out and we were hitting all the hostels because there's a ton of sister hostels and they all have bars, and so you can kind of just go around and drink and have fun that way. And at one point we were hanging out with some French kids and we went to a McDonald's, and as we were walking into the McDonald's, a guy comes out, and now David Guetta is French, right? So me and this French girl and her best friend,
that time
unclear, this guy walks out and I was like, was that David Guetta? And they were like,
wait, you just know what he looks like?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he's on the cover of some albums.
He was also going.
he was just walking around Prague being like, "Do you get it?" He was just shouting his tagline.
I was a little tipsy at this point, maybe a little more than tipsy, but I thought for sure that I had just seen David Guetta, and I was talking to the French kids. I was like, was that David Guetta? And they were like, we were about to ask you the same thing. We have no idea. So we go over and we start talking to this guy, and he is not David Guetta. But what gets crazy is that he is David Guetta's official lookalike, and he owns a coffee shop in Budapest. Okay, so we were talking to him and he pulled up on his phone. He's like, yeah, here's a picture of me and David Guetta, and they look almost identical. And I was like, no way, this is crazy. This is almost better than meeting the real David Guetta.
Oh, absolutely.
So I got a picture of him holding the picture of him and David Guetta on his phone. And
1 degree.
But before I could get the picture, he was like, you have to give my coffee shop that I run a 5-star review. So we were like, whatever. So anyway, and that's one of my best stories, right? My best story is meeting David Guetta's official lookalike, and that is a famous person, and I talk about it all the time. It is on my bio on dating apps, or at least it has been. And I've seen like small stories of people meeting famous people on dating apps all the time. So my question is, what is up with meeting? I get it if the famous person is like, oh, this is my idol, like I've been following him or her forever, and it's just like my dream to meet them. But like, I didn't care about meeting David Guetta. You know, I wouldn't have. I could live my whole life, and if I never met him, I would never put myself in a position to specifically meet David Guetta.
Yeah, that was not a genie wish, right there.
Yeah, but it was super cool. So the question that I want to ask the table, the floor, is, what's up with famous people? Why do we like them?
It is funny that meeting someone famous is such a big like benchmark in someone's life. Like I met the cast of High School Musical when I was like 8. I really didn't care. I don't care much now. I have a picture with them and it's cool, but whatever. But I can understand, like, if an aspiring pro skater meets Tony Hawk, like, of course they're gonna freak out. He is the best skater. Right. But if you just meet like an actor, why is that cool? Like, they are in movies, they are good at acting, but why is that such a huge point in your life?
I'll go. Are we splitting the conversation between people that we like admire? Because that's what you said. Because like, is it about celebrity?
I want to decouple it from that. I think that has merit, and that is, everyone can get behind that. Right. What I'm saying is, like, people who we just know to be famous, we would be so filled with like joy to just run into them.
Sure.
Like, if you just met Jonah Hill.
Right, but see, once again, I would still have a very loose connection of being somebody who has appreciated a Jonah Hill movie and wants to do comedy. So, like, celebrities in many senses have gotten there. It'd be hard to find a celebrity where you couldn't be like, oh, I appreciate the fact that you are a celebrity for this reason in, like, any regard.
Dude, just if I met Kim Kardashian, there is nothing that she does that I'm like, wow.
Really?
Not particularly.
Have you seen some of her earlier work?
I've studied it
biggest
extensively.
Female moguls in the world.
Yeah, but what are we gonna?
That's
I'm
cool.
I'm not into business. I'm not into reality
beauty,
television,
fashion.
Yeah, beauty, fashion, like any of that stuff. There's
Hype
nothing that
culture.
I wanted to like ask her about. Be like, oh, I would love to pick your brain about this. At like maybe the Taylor Swift thing, because that was some of the best investigative journalism of this decade.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But I have no reason to meet her.
Okay. See, this is where I would disagree just from the fact that, like, I think that story is great, where I would love to meet David Guetta's lookalike, more than I'd love to meet David Guetta because I think that he's really interesting. But I think David Guetta also probably has very interesting things to say about DJing. Like, I like listening to you guys talk about things you care about. You talk about Smash, and if I were to meet the best Smash player in the world, I would not care on a Smash level, but on like this person is huge at something. Like, they have dedicated their life and are the best at this thing. Kim Kardashian is a beauty mogul. I don't know what that's like, but I'd be interested in meeting her just to know what that's like.
Are you gonna meet her and like have a conversation, or run into her and be like, "Oh, can I get a picture?"
Well,
'Cause,
I wouldn't. I wouldn't
like,
ask for a picture.
Right? Oh, yeah, me neither.
Why not?
I think
The times I've met famous people, I've asked them to take a photo of me.
Just of you?
Of me.
Oh, that's good.
On their phone.
And did they say yes?
I've twice.
Who?
It wasn't anyone that was really big. I don't remember exactly who it was. It was at like a film convention I was at, and it was someone who had made a few documentaries.
Gotcha.
And I was a kid, and so I was, just trying to be
little goofball.
a little goofball.
I think that what it is when you meet someone from like a town that you grew up in, or spent time in, or like went to college at, if I'm ever out somewhere and people are like, I'm from Jacksonville, the first thing anyone ever wants to, like, oh, do you know this person? I went to middle school with this person. Do you know them? Why? Like, it's the same thing. It's the same, like, just intrigue of being like, man, there's so many people out there. What if we knew the same one? And like, because there's no reason. I've asked so many times people just being like, oh, did you know this person? I think they went to that high school. And they're like, yeah, I do know them. And we're like, whoa, okay. And that's it. And so it's that on a bigger scale. It's like, oh, you know Michael Cera? Of course, everyone knows Michael Cera. I met Michael Cera. So it's not even like we know the same person. It's like, I met this person everyone knows. It's like I don't know, it's like shrinking the world.
I like that take. That's a very wholesome take.
I think,
yeah. Yeah.
It's fun knowing
the
same people.
I'm worried that that's not what it is, though.
Because I can take that and I can strip the wholesomeness out of it, and I could look at it from a utilitarian standpoint, and I could say quite confidently that the gain in social capital from meeting a famous person puts you in a better position around people. Like, you are perceived as more cool and better. Like,
I have an excellent anecdote to back this up.
Perfect. I'm going to stop there then.
Okay.
Wait. Before you do that, I just want you guys to know that I met Zac Efron.
Dude, he's so hot. No way.
Now
I've seen him in movies.
Sam, should you be leading the podcast?
Sam is the best person
cool
here.
now.
I mean, that is cool. You met Zach. We all know him.
Yeah.
It is
but I actually know him.
Social capital.
Right. Sam actually knows Zach.
Yep.
Right. Like, I definitely view you now as more popular.
Yeah, you like kind of know Zach. You're like kind of friends with Zac Efron.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of cool.
I met him when I was 8. So
you've known him for a very long time.
yeah, I've known him for most of my life.
Actually, a year and 2 days ago, I was at this like big outdoor party at this bar for the night before the big UF football game.
Jump.
Go Gators! And we were out there, and there was like classic DJ music going on. People were partying pretty hard, and I was with this girl, Jillian. And Jillian was hanging out with us, and we were all having a good time. And then all of a sudden, the music cuts off, and across the bar, a guy starts setting up to play music on his guitar, and then he starts singing and playing music, and Jillian is furious. She is so mad because she's like, what? Like, nobody wants to listen to some like shitty guy play a guitar. Like, I came here to dance. Like, I came here to have fun. And then she's informed that the guy performing is Chase Rice, who is a moderately successful country artist. And her demeanor changes overnight. She grabs the phone,
Overnight.
Snapchat, over minutes, a Snapchat to the story, Instagram to the story. She's like, guys, this is Chase Rice. I was like, right. You said you hated him 3 minutes ago, that would add to what you're saying.
Because then
right?
there's utility because
Because
now she can put on social media. Oh, I am basically with Chase Rice right now. We are chilling. We are tight.
That
This
story
is
makes me ill.
It is.
I hate that.
It was hard to swallow, and she's like, I didn't know he was Chase Rice. I was like, yeah, like, what are you not seeing?
No, I mean we can point at her and be like, this chick. But honestly, I think we would all be guilty of that.
I mean, I simply wasn't. No, I'm sorry. I can
Firsthand.
confirm I was not.
I can imagine a scenario in which case you or I would be in a similar situation where if there was some guy who was, playing music that was not the music of the venue I paid a ticket for, and I did not recognize who it was, and then I did recognize who it was, that would certainly change my perspective, especially if I was going to use this interaction as a way to boost myself amongst my peers on social media.
Yeah, but that's not the angle I would go after. Like, I have that picture
Not
of me
consciously.
holding Jack Antonoff's hand.
Okay.
And I treasure that because
Right.
I adore him.
But we love Jack Antonoff.
But
this is different.
The Walk the Moon guy came into the crowd, and I could not have cared less.
Right, but you knew who he was.
I knew who he was, but I wasn't like, oh my God, I have to get a picture of me close to him so people can think that I'm cool. I didn't care
Right.
because I
But
don't
also,
like him
that's
as
not a
much.
scenario in which you were thinking that your audience, like the people that you know, would care as much
They
or make you
absolutely
look
would
cooler.
have. Walk the Moon
Okay.
is one of the biggest, like, the most known alt band. My mom likes Shut Up and Dance.
Yeah, but you're not posting on Snapchat to get your mom's approval.
But I'm using that as an example of how widespread the popularity
I
is.
concede because I see your point.
Because I could absolutely be like, this is the guy that sings that song everyone knows. And I think that there are people that will absolutely scramble for social validation.
Right.
And I think that is
True.
weird.
I think that we might be more resilient to that, but I think there is a degree to where we would also be guilty of that. Not to say that it's the same
agree.
level as other people.
I would totally take a video of Kim Kardashian to put on my Snapchat because that is hilarious.
And it's crazy social capital. Like,
Yeah.
you are hanging out
that
with
would
Kim
get
Kardashian.
100 swipe ups easily.
Certainly.
Come on.
Easily. All right. Before we move on to the next segment, I do want to bring up this hypothetical, which is of famous people, or celebrities. One, you get to pick one person that you spend a week with, but no one can ever know, and one person that you only people think that you spent a week with them. but
First
you
one is
don't.
Daisy Ridley.
And why?
Man,
Real cute.
I love Daisy Ridley.
She.
I went to see this. I went to see the first new Star Wars movie, and it was all right. But I went to see it 3 times because of Daisy Ridley.
Wow.
And then I saw the following ones.
You can just
because
look
of
up her
Daisy
picture
Ridley.
on the internet.
I
man.
understand, but it is a 2.5-hour video of her.
Sam, you are 100% that guy that on Zoom will pin the cutest girl in the class on the screen.
I hope she does it back.
That's sweet.
All right. Who would you want to be perceived as having spent a week with?
Come back to me.
All right. Bot?
Yeah, so my answer is definitely I would love to spend a week with Emma Watson. That's been the love since day one. She's amazing. I think we would care for each other very deeply. And I would love for everyone to think that I spent a week with Ted Bundy.
Ooh, hot take. You just hung out with a serial killer.
They wouldn't know. They'd be like, well, was he killing people? Or did he not because people were friends with him. He was a cool guy,
Right.
allegedly. And maybe they thought that like we just were friends at the firm he worked at, and then we just like went on a camping trip. And they're like, he didn't die. Like, yeah, we just hung out, me and Ted.
My answer is Mitt Romney for both.
All right. That's fine.
No discussion.
Okay.
I refuse to elaborate.
All right. Okay, so a week with someone that I can't tell anyone about, I would probably have to pick a thought leader type, such as like maybe Professor Scott Galloway.
Oh yeah, Scott.
I mean,
Dog.
you guys might know him, but he talks a lot about he's got several shows and podcasts about like how to do like better business, like how tech can be better for the world. So I think it's interesting. Jordan Peterson, of course, just to
Dude, but Emma Watson is so cute. Have you thought about that?
yeah. But how much would I gain from Emma Watson? No, I'm
I
sure
hate
she
you
has a
so
lot
much.
I'm sure she has a lot to share. But I just think that hanging out with someone like Jordan Peterson to just ask questions for a week would just be interesting. And then someone who the world thinks I hung out with, I'm gonna have to say Jeff.
Dude, Jeff?
Jeff Bezos for
Oh.
sure.
I thought you were talking about Jeff. Damn it.
Jeff who?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I think that
I love that everyone just knows that Austin hung out with Jeff for a week. They're
No,
like, Jeff.
I think one of the powerhouse people right now is like Jeff Bezos. And so I think that if everyone thought you spent a week with Jeff Bezos, there's a lot of utility in that. People are like, okay, who are
Dude, they
you
probably-
that you spent
they might
a
have
week
thought
with Jeff
you were
Bezos?
his like side table for a week.
No,
He has money to pay you 6 figures to just hold his drink.
Like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, any of those people, if people thought you spent a week with them, that'd be huge for you.
That's true.
Like I think you could just get into anything you wanted
God,
to.
you're so conniving.
I was actually going to pick Elon Musk for
Really?
quite similar reasons.
Okay, then.
I mean, I guess I'd love to actually spend a week with him, but if people think I spent a week with him and like gained knowledge of this field that I might want to enter in of alternative
Right.
energy, that would be very useful.
Or just that, like, he's such a busy guy doing so much stuff, and you spent a week with him.
It's just such a funny term. I spent a week with him. I don't even know
Yeah.
what that really constitutes. You know what I mean? It's so open ended.
He took a week out of his year to spend with me.
That's 152nd.
A 52nd of his year. Us just in a log cabin. Catching trout, probably.
Maybe.
Rubbing aloe in each other's backs when we get this little sunburn.
All right, we've got to cut that here, but that was good talk.